And just quarantine life.
Quarantine life. Well, what's up, man? You been busy? What's going
Uh,
on?
just hanging out, man, doing some year-end duties, and just staying on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook every like 2 seconds. But
For
um,
sure.
not doing too much. Just trying to read books and trying to keep learning. So,
All right, well, let's get into it. We're not wasting any time. We're just gonna
or,
jump right into it. So for the people watching that don't know who you are, why don't you give just a little quick background story on who you are, what you've done, everything like that.
yeah, I'm Brendon Boomsma. I'm from South Dakota. I went to Tri Valley High School. It's about 15 miles northwest of Sioux Falls. Honestly, it's in the middle of a cornfield. So if you guys did not know that, I went to high school in the middle of a cornfield. Had a pretty successful career there. Went to Dakota State University in Madison, South Dakota's NAI school. Had an okay career there. Made the national tournament a couple times. Learned a lot. Became a better leader. Just overall a better person. Then I applied to a bunch of graduate assistant positions. Ended up here at Concordia, Nebraska, in Seward. Last 2 years, been head of the JV program, second assistant in the varsity program as well. It's been really fun. This year, fortunate enough to win the 2020 GPAC tournament championship. Really, really fun. GPAC's loaded, man. So it's been awesome. Now I'm just preparing myself for a job and coaching job, and it's been tough with this COVID-19 stuff because everything's pretty slow. Athletic directors are worrying about other things. Coaches are, not leaving or whatever it may be, but just staying prepared and continue to learn each day.
So anyone who's tuned in watching this, I'm going to recommend highly to stick around to the end because the guy I'm talking to today has a lot of knowledge that he's going to be sharing about the recruiting process, about his process as a player when he went through it, things that he did to become a successful athlete. So a lot of good information is going to be happening today. I'm excited about it. So let's start with you in high school. Freshman through senior. I was unfortunate enough to have to compete against you when I was a freshman, and I think I was only a freshman. And well, you kind of lit it up, but that's obviously for a reason. So talk about your high school experience, what you do on a daily, and how you ultimately got to where you are today.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's already been almost 6 years ago since I graduated high school, so it's kind of in the rearview memory and stuff like that. But had a very successful high school career, really fun. It's kind of funny people want to make varsity so quick nowadays, and I didn't make varsity my freshman year, guys. I didn't. But that drove me to be better. It did. I just continued to work my butt off. Went in the mornings at 5 a.m. just to get workouts in. With Trey Berg, actually, if you guys know, most of you guys probably know him. Trey and I got up in the morning, got workouts in before school. It's helped me a lot. Sophomore year, progressed, made varsity, was sixth man. We got fifth at state. Had a chance maybe to win it that year, but came against a very tough St. House Moore team. Junior year was a little battled up. Hurt my ankle pretty bad. Stretched some ligaments out. Missed about 12 or 13 games. So I got like half the season. And then senior year, I came back with a vengeance. Just really, really fought each day to be better, but to be also a better leader and teammate. And that kind of helped me. But just putting the work in. And then the senior year, I was blessed to have a first team All-State, Mr. Basketball finalist, fifth at state. Made a big run at the end of the year. So truly, truly blessed. Have a great high school career. But as I said, it's a long time ago, and just it's kind of a memory just now. So
what drove you to get up that early in the morning to get in the weight room and then get in the gym?
Yeah, that's a good question, because a lot of people, when I was doing it, they're like, dude, come on, man, like you're getting up at 5 a.m. to get in the weight room and gym. It's like, but for me, it was more than that. It's me because it was such a passion for me. I love basketball. I love the work ethic, and a mentor of mine, and a guy I look up to is my brother. He was doing the same thing, Seth Boomsma. So I knew I had to do it. especially in the first 3 years of my high school career, I didn't accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. And I think that's what a lot of guys don't realize is when you truly want to accomplish something, you're going to do everything to get it, right? When you wake up in the morning, your feet hit the ground to get that start that day, it's go time, right? And that was kind of the mindset I had. Once you get up, once that alarm goes off, it's no more. You just get up and get going. So I knew I had something to prove. Everyone doubted me. I was 5'9", 5'8", everyone doubted me, saying I couldn't do anything, couldn't do that, couldn't play college basketball. So, hey, I said, all right. I talked to my brother, called my parents, talked to the guys around me in my circle, and I said, we're doing this. I told the guys on my team, my senior year, Tri-Valley, and I said, we're making state, guys. We are. I don't care how much we struggle during the season. It doesn't matter at the end of the year. We're going to be playing our best basketball, and we're going to get there. So a lot of drove me. A lot of stuff that I'm not even going to tell you guys because more personal inside stuff. But just find that trigger that really gets you. Mamba mentality, right? Like if you guys really love Kobe Bryant, rest his soul, that read his books, watch his stuff. Like you will be like just inspired to have greatness and do more.
So if you're waking up this early in the morning as a high schooler, which today getting a high schooler out of bed before 6 a.m. is very rare, what are some things you're doing? I know you're in the weight room, you're in the gym, but walk through just some of the basic stuff that you'd be doing on a day-to-day. Yeah,
I tried to just talk to my brother, supplementing all the workouts and nutrition, all that stuff. I try to go to bed at 9 or 9:30 in the high school years. Wake up, 4:35, 4:45. Just get to the gym. And I golfed in the fall, so that kind of took the afternoons away a little bit. So I knew that I had to get something in the morning, then I could still go at night as well. So either in the morning I'd go shoot, get 400, 500 makes in, or ball handling, whatever it is before school, or just get a lifting session before school. And then after school, I go to golf practice, and then at the night, I get more shots up or whatever it may be. But I knew that had to be planned out, right? You can't do something. You can't be great at whatever you need to do if you don't have a schedule. So I was really task-oriented, prioritized what I needed to prioritize, get home from workouts, get my homework done, boom, eat, have some family time, go to bed, right? Like I knew I had to do that. I still put some together for social life. I'm not saying you can't have a social life, right? Like, guys, it's all about what you want to prioritize, right? Some are more talented more than others, and guess what? The reason I went that hard is I was 5'9". I was shorter than others, and people doubted me. So I had to do that. I had a fire inside my soul and whatever I need to do to go get it, right? To be better. And so the biggest thing is just being consistent in whatever you need to do, right? Having a consistent priorities, tasks, whatever it may be, and just get it and do what you need to do.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, especially for someone like you said, you're against all odds. You really do have to sacrifice a lot of that time with your family, your friends, doing all the things that most of us are accustomed to being around. So now we're through high school, you're in your senior year. College is starting to take note of who you are. Obviously, you played at Dakota State. But talk about, just kind of walk through your recruitment process of not even just through DSU, but any other school that was talking to you, and ultimately wrap it up into why you chose DSU, and maybe some things that you took mental notes of along that process for you.
Yeah, so I kind of had a path that was not so regular nowadays. I think my 8th grade, freshman, sophomore, junior, I played with Dakota Schoolers with Coach Bertram. So I played all those 4 years, but actually going into my senior year, I decided not to play AU basketball. Like, it's crazy because if someone did that now, they'd be freaking out that, nothing's going to happen. The reason I did that, because I knew I had to sacrifice something for more my personal success and my team's success in high school, right? Because you think about it, if you're not working out outside of playing AU team tournaments, how much work are you actually getting in? So that's something I really sat down with my parents, my brother, and thought about, like, I think this is something I need to do to, really reach the level I want to reach. So how did I supplement that without AU basketball? Well, I was in the gym 6 to 8 hours a day. Like I was. It was a summer of just grinding, of just work. And people thought I was crazy not playing AU basketball. And then we have the year we did in my senior year, and they're like, oh, all right, I guess that paid off. And I was like, yeah, it did. And still through the process, I was able to sign up to Dakota State. A lot of GPAC schools interested. Some just walk-on type stuff. Division II stuff. But honestly, it was stuff like where when you think about where you want to go to college, right? You think about three things, right? For me, it was three things. It was fit, right? Fit for my personal, self. How am I gonna star in that institution, right? Mission and vision of that. Proximity to home, right? Big family guy, so I didn't want to go too far from home. Just being close to my brother and close to my parents, and plus my brother went to Dakota State, so it was pretty cool. To spend 2 years with him there. And then the third thing is, am I gonna be able to play, right? And that's something I see so much nowadays is kids just knocking off any high schools, right? Just because they want to be D2 or Division I, right? Which I have no problem with. That's awesome, right? That's awesome. You want to do that? Go ahead and reach your goals, because that's truly what matters in your life, to reach your goals. But for me, it was, where am I going to play and where can I compete to play? You're not going to just roll in and play, right? Unless you're more talented than someone else. But I thought about those things, and it really got down to the point what Dakota State really had to offer. Proximity to home. My brother was there. I was going in there and I was going to compete to play right away. They won, I think, 2 conference championships before they got there, right? And I knew I could grow as a person and a player there. So I really wanted to continue there on my legacy with my brother, Coach Gary Garner, and all those guys. But honestly, it's everyone's different, as you probably know as well. Everyone's different in what they want, their interests. So you just got to really buckle down, sit down with your parents, sit down with yourself, have a night with yourself, and be like, man, what do I really want with college? Mm-hmm. If you don't want to win, right, go to a program and score 20 a game, right? That's what you want. If you want to go win, be a part of the program, but maybe take a step back, that's fine. If you want to go after Division I, Division II offer, do it. But I'm not gonna tell you there's a written manual on what you should do. One thing that's really points out, as many South Dakota guys know, is Del Rapids, and did you have stud Ty Hoagland, right? He had Division II offers in high school. Probably maybe could have tried a Division I offer, and look at his career he had at Dakota Wesleyan. That's an example I use with some guys. Kyle Magnus out of Indiana Wesleyan. Guys like that could have gone Division I, Division II, and had great careers there. Guess what? They were fitted right at any high schools, and they really flourished there. And it was awesome to see that stuff. So honestly, it's what's about you, what you want at the end, and how you can fit in the program, and if you're comfortable with the coaches as well.
Yeah, I mean, Ty Hoagland is probably the best example around here for kids to know, for sure. Had a phenomenal career, and will definitely be. I bet most GPAC schools are happy that he's gone, but as a competitor, we hate to see him go out the way he did. So before we kind of get into like the recruitment tips and everything from a coaching standpoint, you were obviously said like you're 5'9", and a lot of people just were questioning your decision of not playing summer ball. Even in being your recruitment process, you were still doubted. People didn't think that you could make it or you could have a successful collegiate career. Did you use any of that doubt from the outside world to just kind of push you and amplify your work ethic even more?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's kind of a hidden secret, but if you walked in my room or my brother's room in high school, we had all the printouts of doubt. We had them printed on our walls. Articles of not mentioned, right? Just simple articles. I typed out things on Word of things people have said. Just every morning I woke up, I saw that thing, right? I saw it, and I was like, okay, this person doubted me, so why not? Why not me, right? So honestly, it's something, like I said, it's a long time ago. It's fun talking about, but I mean, it's over with. But I like sharing what I did, and the 4 things I really thought was what pushed me in college and high school was the dedication of hard work, right? The passion, the commitment, and being uncomfortable all the time. What the uncomfortable level is, people say, why do you want to be uncomfortable? Because if I'm comfortable doing things, am I really going to get better, right? If I'm comfortable, if I'm comfortable with it at B average, am I really going to be a better student? Probably not, right? if I'm comfortable just brushing my teeth and not flossing my teeth, am I gonna have the best teeth possible? Probably not, right? So things like that. That's really, I have a lot of stuff like that, so I like talking. But it's stuff like that where you just find ways to be better, right? You just find ways, and honestly, it's like those doubters, they meant something to me, but really at the end of the day, it was just me against me, right? You look yourself in the mirror, and when I go to bed that night of that morning, was I better that night than I was the morning I woke up, right? And that's the biggest thing. You can go now as a human being, you guys moving forward, wake up in the morning, look yourself in the mirror, and say, I'm going to be better tonight when I go to bed. When you go to bed, say, I'm going to be better tomorrow, right? And that's all you can focus on, accomplish, and just keep moving.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned that, you didn't really pay too much attention or care overly about the people who doubted you. I think that's different for today's athletes, to where they are really just, game gets over if they have a good game or a bad game. It's right to Twitter to find out how they quit, or if people are talking about them, if they're saying something bad, and they take it to heart if you're doubting them. Mm-hmm. And then when it comes to the people who are closest to them, they're still more focused on those outside talkers than the people who are closest to them, and I think that's kind of one of the biggest problems in athletes today is they really are, their focus is more derived on the outside noise than from the people standing next to them, their family, their teammates, their closest coaches, everything.
It's one of those things too, like social media back in our day in high school, it was still something, but it wasn't as big as now. Yeah. I still remember when I tweeted out I was going to Dakota State, I got like maybe 2 retweets and 50 favorites. and now a kid that maybe no one's really ever heard of it gets like 40 retweets and 700 favorites. It's like, what is going on here? But it's the way life's moving forward. And honestly, social media is a great tool now to learn, as long as you don't consume yourself too much with it.
We'll get more into the social media aspect here in a little bit, but went to DSU, had a pretty decent career. Here's the thing about a player like you from high school, and I think a lot of players can try and relate to. You, from high school, you were the guy. You were the guy who had to score most of the points. You had to lead your team. You had that responsibility of leading your team to a victory. And you got to take, high volume shots a lot every night. And then you go to college. And I think that in today's basketball world, guys who played that role in high school where they shoot a lot of shots and they get that volume shooting, they go to college and they expect to do the same thing, but then they're asked to play their role and they don't know how to do that. So you were different. You accepted your role. So talk about your role changing, because it changed all 4 years of your collegiate career. So talk about how you went through that process of changing your role.
Yeah, it was, I'm not saying it's an easy process, right? Not at all. It was difficult, right? I was, like you said, I was, shooting all I wanted senior year of high school. Freshman year, I moved into freshman role, and I was still kind of that guy. They said they wanted me to score, right? And had 28 points my first ever game, and it was like, all right, we're back to high school, right? And then, 3 to 4 weeks later, things quickly changed. We get a couple of Division I transfers that were ineligible back. So they're kind of consuming all the shots, consuming the playing time. At the time it was tough. It was really tough because you go 2 to 3 years of being the man, right? And then you're like, oh, like there's some good players who are better than me. And so one of those like that is really like opened my eyes and was like, well, this program's winning. This loaded with talent, right? Like we were loaded with talent my freshman year, and I was like, if I'm not going to average, 15 a game, 10 a game, I really don't care, right? And it was tough for me to tell myself that. And so then sophomore year, I was more of a scorer. The junior year, I became more of we got some transfers in, became more of a, 3-point guy, drive to pass and defender, right? And my senior year, I kind of became just lockdown defender, right? I just became the guy who wanted to guard the best guy on the other team. And honestly, I thrived in that role. I loved it. Like knowing that you're the guy because honestly, the guys on defense who are good, they work their butt off every possession, right? Off the ball, on the ball, rebounding, whatever it may be, But that's the type of role, and that's the type of guy I want to be known as. The hard worker, the guy with passion, the guy that's not going to quit, and that's kind of the defense guy, right? So I really flourished in that one. Things moved on, like you said, roles changed. It's tough, it's difficult. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but when you think about things, go home and complain, because I was guilty of it, right? You complain to yourself. The voice in your head is like, man, this is dumb, right? This is stupid. But, get that out of your head. Go home, take some time for yourself, get in the gym by yourself, just shoot and say, what's more important, winning and remembering this memory of winning and coming as a team, or scoring 20 points and winning 5 games, right? Or, scoring 20 points off 18 shots. The percentages are horrible. So just do what's best for the team. Ultimately, do what's best for you in the future. Moving forward, you're going to learn a lot more, accepting roles and trying to be the man all the time.
I think coaches today really look for those type of guys that can buy into their role. I mean, right away. And a lot of players will fight it and they'll be upset about it. But as soon as you accept like what your job is going to be on your team, the happier you're going to be in your program. I mean, if your job is to be the 6th man off the bench and you think you're a starter, I mean, relish that role. Come off the bench and play your heart out. If your role is to just bring energy on the end of the bench, I mean, that's a role. People don't like it, but teams need that guy. So let's transition into you coaching now. So you've been coaching collegiately for 2 years now. You've been doing a lot of recruiting. So you've obviously gone through the process as a player, and now you've flipped it, and now you're having kids go through that same process. So obviously we don't know what the summer's going to look like, but let's just say we're at an AAU tournament. What are some things you're looking for from players? Obviously you have those designated players you go out and watch, but maybe you'll just catch one that you don't know and he impresses you. What are some of those characteristics that you're looking for from a kid like that?
Yeah, great question. Like I say, I've said in the articles before I've written and stuff like that, there's no written manual on how to recruit and what to really look for, right? But there are 3, factors or 4 factors that you really look for. Is one big thing is body language, right? You have the most talented player, and if he's out there just, throwing swear words out there and sagging the head, stuff like that, he's immediately off the list. Because if he's acting like that in an AU summer game, how's he going to act when a team-oriented scrimmage or game, whatever it may be? The second thing is how they play within their role. Because roles are way different than high school teams, as we talked about. So how do they play within that role? How do they accept that? It's really fun to watch kids that maybe average 25 a game in high school, their team, high school seasons, and they go and they do everything perfect. They try to do everything perfect or right in summer ball, right? And it's awesome to see because they're accepting their role. They're doing things, like that. The third thing is just dudes that are out hustling and doing the little things, like guys that are hitting guys on box outs. That's guys we want in our program, right? Guys that are hustling after balls, throwing their body loose in summer games that really don't mean much, right? That's what dudes we want. Guys that are high-fiving their teammates, guys that are talking to their coach saying, like, maybe we can do this, do that. Like just the little things where it means so much. Like, guys, I know you guys hear all the time, little things add up, but they truly mean a lot to us coaches in college. Because when you get all the little things add up together, it results in a 2020 Conference Tournament Championship GPAC. Because that was the Concordia Bulldogs this year. Like, guys that can fit in the program, fit in the culture, and really flourish in that, whether it may be the towel waiver right at the end of the bench or the star player who doesn't care about themselves and cares about everybody else on the team. So like you said, the 3 things, body language is huge. Okay, out hustling each other, that's huge. And then doing the little things, like just doing those things that really matter, that catches our eye. So advice for you kids, out there, don't be the guy just trying to get 20 points. Like college coaches, yeah, cool, you can score, right? Probably most guys can score at that level, right? Most guys, if you're on the AU team that's solid, most of you can score. Okay, but if you can't score and maybe you don't get the ball as much, make the impact in other ways, defensively, getting loose balls, talking on defense, right, communicating, knowing personnel. Like you can still know personnel in summer ball, right? Like that dude's a shooter, I'm not going to give him a 3. We notice those things. It's things we notice because we've been doing this and we know what to look for. So my biggest advice for you kids would just be play within your role, accept what's going to happen. Okay, and just do what you do to the best ability. So that's one thing we were looking for.
So I think the kind of the contrast of what you're kind of saying is you're watching the game, kid has 28, that's all he has. All he has is 28 points. Kid on the same team has 14,
Mm-hmm.
has 6 rebounds, has 5 assists, 2 loose balls, steals,
Yeah.
locking up. That's the guy you'd rather have, correct?
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's skewed a little bit because if there's Travis scoring 28 points, he's really good. Like we're still gonna,
Obviously.
yeah,
So
yeah.
let's change it to the fact where he's just pulling.
If he has 28 points and 24 shots, and this kid that has 5 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and out hustling everybody, and is a good teammate, that's the guy we want, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it comes down to, having a good program. Every program is different in the whole world, across the country. Every program is different. But if like the culture, the team, the program that really stresses culture and team basketball, the guy that's hustling, making little plays, that's the guy we want.
So obviously in your culture down in Concordia, those are the type of guys who are hustling, guys who are doing the little things.
Yeah.
So I already know. I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So what would you rather have? Would you rather have the most talented of individuals? I'm talking the top of talent individuals. Or would you rather have people who are with your culture?
Yeah, see, that's a great question, because I think every coach in America wants that most talented player. They want the most talented player, but there's an exception to that. If you can have a team full 10 guys that accept culture and really flourish together and work hard every day, those are the guys we want, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone's gonna go after the most talented player. Like that's the thing about these days. Everyone's gonna try that. That's how it's been forever. But if you can supplement that with 10 guys that really accept their role and really buy in and work hard, that's what we want. To put an example, Concordia this year, our team, our leading score was 15.7 a game, right? 15.7 points per game, and we had 4 or 5 guys in double figures. But the reason we had success is guys had no cares about their stats at the end of the game. They didn't. We had more guys caring about deflections, right? Like getting deflections than scoring points. Like if I scored 30 points, but a dude had 8 deflections is crazy. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's what we love. We talk about those things: charges taken, deflections, paint touches. Like we need guys that are really gonna focus on more of the team success and what's gonna benefit the team more than their individual success. So that's the biggest thing with us.
So I want to loop back into social media here. Not so much as, like you said before, and it's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal tool that we can use. Yeah. But it also can be very destructive. So I want to tie this into how social media can hurt somebody's recruitment. Whether it's a kid who's tweeting profanity or inappropriate, stuff like that, or just stuff like that. How can social media just be very destructive in your recruitment process? Yeah,
there's so many variables outside of actually, like you talked about recruiting at an event, right? There's so many variables outside of that. There's probably more than actually watching the game. We watch outside of the game so much, how they are with their parents, right? Like how do they treat their parents? That's huge, right? How do they open doors for somebody? Like those things we notice, like just little things like that. But get to your question, like how does social media affect kids? If we see kids, tweeting out, profanity, right, bad language, liking tweets that have stuff to deal with that, because now the new Twitter timeline, you can see so and so liked this tweet, mm-hmm. right? Like no one's safe anymore, guys. So honestly, we really monitor social media. If we like a kid, someone follows us, we follow them, or we look at their profile, we see their tweet, we go to the likes, we check their likes. We do those things. Every coach across America does that, and it matters. It truly matters, and that's why you got to be really, really safely, concerned about what you put out on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Just be cautious of that.
Yeah, for sure. I wrote an article about a year ago, and we talked about it a little bit before, and how games get done, and the first thing we're going to look at is that, and we're not so much focused on our games. We're focused on how many likes and retweets we can get on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. That's what players, it just seems like to me, what players are more interested in is, it's game day, and so, well, everybody's got to know that I'm playing a game, right? Look at me, I'm playing, I'm hooping, stuff like that. Can that be destructive for a culture, a guy that's more focused, in and around his personal image? or how destructive can that be for a culture and a team?
Yeah, it definitely can be. We try to stink those out right away, because it's kind of an example. We put it this way: you're in the weight room, in a setting, and the team's oriented themselves, right? But if this kid, if he talked about example A, whatever, who is more concerned about themselves, is over by themselves lifting. What do you if you're a random person, Greg, walking through a hallway and you see 18, 20 guys lifting together, and you see one or two guys over by themselves, what do you probably think?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, that's tough. We have to push that out. We have to get that fire out right away. And we have meetings with guys talking about those things. And honestly, it's a thing. If you stamp out right away, it's going to be fine. But guys need to understand that, and that's the problem. Like you said, the issue with big time high school guys coming in is like, why do I have to listen? Why do I have to do this? But accepting the role quicker is going to make their career, much better. They're going to make their academics much better, and they're going to make their overall, life better, with relationships and basketball and academics. So everything you do in life really kind of transfers over to one area, right? Like I said, if you study hard in academics, it's going to transfer to the court. You're going to work hard on the court. Work on the court, it's going to transfer over to your family life and friends, right? You're going to work hard with your family and friends, and you're going to have a great life doing those things. But you have to be able to accept and proceed with what you're doing.
All right, very quickly, as we're wrapping up here, academics, that was the word that just popped out to me. Importance of academics from a high school kid. What are you looking for here?
Yeah, the fun analogy I like to use is you really can't drive a car without an engine, right? Or am I crazy? Okay, so you can't get accepted into college, right? Like if you don't have grades, you can't continue playing if you don't have grades. Like I see so many talented kids out there that they end up not being able to be accepted or getting the scholarship they want to because they don't have the grades. They don't focus too much. So moving forward with you guys, really focus on your grades. It's much easier process going to college when you prepared yourself in high school. Studying, forming those habits that truly matter that go to success of academics.
I think it's easier for coaches to actually recruit somebody who has high GPA, high
less worry.
Yeah, it's less worry, and not to mention you can get academic scholarships to give the athletes. You don't have to worry about financial aid as much, or are they going to be able to afford to come here, everything like that. So that's definitely good advice to be focusing on your school. Before I ask my last question, do you have anything you just want to share, like anything that you have that you just want people to know?
Honestly, guys, it's been a pleasure doing this because I really look forward to speaking to you guys. I love talking. Greg and Sacred Hoops does a great job with this all. But I just want to tell you guys, if you're interested, I put an article yesterday in Sacred Hoops. If you're interested in coaching, right? Like after high school, after college, whatever it may be, reach out. Whatever advice you have. I've been truly blessed here at Concordia with mentors. It's Coach Lindbeck and Coach Correll. I've learned so much, and I continue to learn. And it's been an awesome process, guys. It's a scary thing to get into college coaching because it's a lot of hours. But if you're passionate about coaching, passionate about just helping others, it's awesome, guys. It's truly incredible. Just wanted to share that with you guys because it means a lot to me if you guys reach out, and I can hit you guys up with whatever advice you need. So.
All right, I lied. I have one more question before my final question. Right. Coach Bertram said a little while ago that you're one of the most determined, disciplined athletes he's ever been around. He's blessed to coach you. What's your relationship like with Coach Bertram?
So to answer that question, I think you all know my brother is probably the most determined, disciplined athlete there absolutely ever is and ever will be, because that dude is insane with everything he does. But Coach Bertram and I go about 10 years back, and he's been a lot to me. Like, I tell him that. I tell my parents that he's like, my second father, just because he's always there for me, teaches me so much. But the biggest thing about him is, aside from all basketball stuff, he holds you to the highest standard all the time, right? Like all the time, the highest standard. I still remember, my sophomore year, junior year, we play a team, and I had a really good game, but we lost. And he's like, Brendon, like, you had a really great game. Like, you're going to be a great point guard, but you got to learn how to win. I was like, all right, that really hit me. And I was like, okay, that sounds good. And every time we did a workout together, every time we did something, every time we talk, it's just passionate connection where it's like, yeah, he's meant to be in my life. And I think he has that impact on everyone. Obviously, it's shown with Sacred Hoops. He has an impact on everybody he comes in contact with. You know, he truly means a lot to me. So if you're watching this, Coach Bertram, if you're watching it later, appreciate you and thank you.
Yeah, he's a pretty decent guy.
Yeah, pretty
That's all I'll give him. Here's my last question. We talked about you coaching and recruiting, but I want to go back to you as a player again. Looking back on your playing career, now that it ended 2 years ago, what's something that you regret?
You know, that's a great question. Like that's a barn burner of a question. Honestly, Greg, it's one of those things where if I told you I didn't regret anything, I'd be 100% honest. And I'll tell you why. When you lay every ounce of sweat and heart into the passion or game you do, and you leave that thing, you're fine with leaving, right? I still remember my last game ended, and it sucked, right? It's tough. We had an 8-hour road trip after that, and my career's over. But looking back on everything that road trip, and I was like, I don't know what else I can ask for, you know, yeah, I could have scored more. I could have had more assists. We could have won more, you know, obviously those are the things we want, in life. I should have won more, right? But it's a thing that I truly put everything into it. When you do that, you're tired. You're tired. And that just shows true success of not just your basketball career, but of what you've done in the last 14, 15 years of my career. And, you know, it gets to a point where too many people have regrets. And I accepted it my junior year of college. I still remember I accepted it. I was like, I'm not going to have regrets. I'm just going to play this game because I love it. I'm going to enjoy it with my teammates, my brothers. I'm going to enjoy my family in the stands because they have the luxury of being there. I'm going to enjoy my friends, including you, that always text me good luck. I appreciate those things, you know, and as athletes, we get too far-fetched with, oh man, how many points do I have? How many do this? I should have had more. But honestly, guys, 6 years down the road, like I said, 6 years out of high school, 2 years out of college, I've forgotten so many my games of stats. But the things I remember is the memories I've made with my teammates, my brothers, and with the wins we've had. So, and that's, guys, I don't BS anybody. That's true right there with the words I said. So my brother and I, you know, we studied Mamba mentality all the time. Jordan, Michael Jordan, and when you truly like Kobe said, I think in something, when you put everything in something, it's so much easier to leave. So in my time, I have no regrets. Did everything to the best of my ability. Just left the game, you know, with a great pathway and to my next profession of coaching. So I've appreciated everything.
Yeah, you know, you kind of just hit something there on you don't even remember some of your games. Question I'll usually ask a lot of players that are concerned about their average points is who led South Dakota in scoring 4 years ago? And they go, well, I don't know. I go, yeah, exactly, because stats and highlights, they get lost. The impact that you have on somebody outside of what you're doing on the floor, that's what people remember you by. And I think that's why, to this day, I mean, you're still very well remembered. My nephew, Ash, who's 6 years old, still remembers his favorite player from Dakota State and Brendon Boomsma. So that's something that I'll always hold as well, just because, you know, he's family to me. Thank you. I can't thank you enough for coming on and talking and sharing your insight. Yeah, that's everything that a lot of people need to be hearing and listening to.
Yeah.